Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
Welcome to News Laundry Chhota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. News Laundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a News Laundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
I'm Abhinandan Sekhri and I'm back on the Hafta after a week of absence, much to the delight of many of our audiences who have said that Manisha should host it more often.
Really? I think that's a minority. Like 2 people maybe said so.
But minority appeasement is News Laundry mantra, isn't it? मैंने जोक मारा हफ्ते की शुरुआत में जोक मारा 6 से शुरुआत करता हुआ कि श्रीकांत
So you will go out more often now, huh?
But it was very, very tiring, and I was really appreciating your energy levels till the end of every hafta.
है ना? Isn't
like
it?
I was tired after one
It
hour.
saps you. It's like you're
It does sap
sitting
you.
in a zone that's sucking out the happiness of you. Anyway, let's start on the happy note. अंग्रेज अपना लगान और News Laundry अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. When the public pays, the public is served, and when advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Because today was budget day, most of the advertisements have gone for budget. So those of you who have some money left, please subscribe, help News Laundry grow, help us sustain ourselves so we can truly do stories that are in your interest. On that note, I will introduce the panel, but before that I will introduce our producer Shubham and our recorder Anil. Thank you Shubham and Anil for putting the Hafta together. Today we have our guest Meghnad.
Hello.
Anchor, producer, creator. No, producer मैं था शायद. But anchor, creator, writer of the Constitution.
Not the actual one, the show.
The show, not the actual one. That was a constituent assembly led by Baba Saheb Ambedkar who made that one happen. That ting ting is him stirring his tea, by the way. Tea पर क्या हुआ है? Budget में levies ऊपर गई हैं, नीचे गई हैं?
We'll have to check.
Chai, they should have used chai as a
Chai.
motif.
सेस तो लग गया होगा तो ऊपर ही जाएगी.
पकोड़े पे क्या हुआ है वो important question है.
ठीक है.
पकोड़ा तो अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर है तो वहाँ पे तो पता नहीं
जी हम कौन से ऑर्गेनाइज्ड हैं? पूरा इंडिया अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर है. You can listen to the 1 hour special of 2 non-experts talking about the budget on our Facebook page. That's Meghnad and me. Then we have our very own Manisha,
Hi.
co-host of Hafta.
Co-host. Yeah.
Co-hostess.
Yeah, I heard new show, Nuisance.
Yes.
It's amazing. I
Thank
love
you.
it. Yeah.
Thank you. And you're also helping out in that, I hope.
what a neutral person you are. Meghnad directs her and helps write a little bit of it also.
Yes.
No, but
So
it's
he's-
amazing, guys. It's amazing.
It's amaze balls. Anand Vardhan. Hi Anand, how are you doing?
Fine.
Are you, as your usual upbeat, cheerful self, spreading the joy?
Yes.
Well, at least I got a smile out of him. I get 5 on 10 for that. And Raman Kripal,
Hi.
our managing editor, who's been a little under the weather last week because Delhi is a bunghole with filthy air and it's cold. And everyone seems to love the cold though.
Abhinandan, why haven't you gotten an air purifier here yet?
I can't afford it.
Really?
Yeah.
They're cheap ones, man.
Dude, for a room this size, I'll need about 5. That's like 20 grand each. That's a lakh. For upstairs rooms, I'll need like 20. I'll have to spend 2 lakhs on air purifiers.
Q. Pay to keep us breathing good air.
Yeah, pay to keep the...
If you care about our lungs.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is what we're going to be discussing. Today was budget day, so everyone can give the 2 bits on budget if you have any bits to give. Then we have the Kasganj violence and the many debates that followed. I think it brought out the ugliest side of our big legacy media. FIR against the army in Jammu and Kashmir, and the allies, that is the PDP and the BJP, are on opposite sides of this. That should an FIR be lodged against against the army in Jammu and Kashmir. A major has been named. Then Swara Bhaskar's open letter to Bhansali. Of course, last week this one was released. Kya naam iska?
Padmavat.
Padmavat. And the many letters and open letters have been exchanged since then. We shall discuss that. And Delhi sealing drive. All sorts of shops and establishments are getting sealed. AAP is blaming BJP. BJP is just generally blaming, I don't know one, but LG heads DDA. So let's see what comes to that. And one nation, one election. That little murmur seems to be moving up to a chatter, which will hopefully, well, not hopefully, which will predictably move up to a debate and then to shouting. I personally am not in favor of it.
I've
I'd
been
like to know what-
screaming about this for 2 years now.
in favor of it.
No, I mean about simultaneous elections. Right?
Okay.
Like,
That a possibility.
it's crazy. We'll talk about that.
And we'll also talk about Yashwant Sinha's Rashtra Manch. What is it? Is it like the Margdarshak Mandal that exists but doesn't do anything? I mean, I'm intrigued. It's a platform, it's a forum. What does
It's
that
a
mean?
platform against the government policies.
But he's not making another party.
No.
No.
He's in the
He's
BJP.
daring Modi to expel.
Mujhe nikal.
Yeah.
I see. And the most grisly and disgusting news item, which I frequently listen to the Time magazine podcast, and it's very rarely that any Indian news makes it to the Time magazine news podcast. You know, the 2-minute stories they do. The rape of the 8-month girl made it to that podcast. In the last, I think, week, that's the only Indian story that I heard on the Time magazine podcast. So yeah, that's what's making India famous. That's sad. And Anand has written a wonderful piece on that. I highly recommend you read it. And he has often spoken about the banal crimes being overlooked, and banal by not the severity of it, but the everyday nature of such, which are not political in nature, that don't get the attention that they deserve. On that note, I have one quick announcement to make. Many of you know that now we have 5 weekly podcasts as NL Hafta, NL Charcha, Awful and Awesome, Reporters Are Orders, and Just Sports. We used to post all these updates on the podcast, on the News Laundry social media handles, that is the Facebook and the Twitter handles. But to bring more value to our podcast lovers, we've started separate Twitter handles and a Facebook page for our podcast, where you'll get updates only on our podcast shows, and we can also put a little more detail there. So if you're listening to this and like our podcast and want to stay more up to date on our podcast and what we'll be discussing, you can like our Facebook page, facebook.com/newslaundrypodcast, and our Twitter handle is @NLPodcasts. All right. Also, the glitches in our app, some of our subscribers have been complaining about on the Android app. We know it's a little unstable. We are working on a new app. Sophisticated apps are very expensive. It'll take a couple of months. I would highly, recommend and urge you to please contribute and subscribe so we can pay better money to get a speedier team working on our app. Until then, you can start subscribing. You'll get a private SoundCloud link in your email inbox, all the subscribers, for those whom the app crashes, and you can listen to our podcast through that. On that note, Raman, so what do you want to start with? Kasarganj or the budget?
The budget, I think.
Okay, let's go with the budget. Anything that raised your eyebrows
Let me read out
or dropped your jaw?
The fun tweet first.
I think,
So, Rufal Gandhi tweeted this. Lower class को मिलती है सब्सिडी, अपर क्लास को मिलते हैं रिबेट्स, सैलरी वालों तुम टीवी देखो क्योंकि मिडिल क्लास को मिलती है बस डिबेट्स.
क्या बात है.
आप इससे सहमत हैं रमन सर?
हाँ, सहमत हैं. इसमें it is anybody's guess that this is his last budget and this is the political budget. But
मतलब
politically-
last in this term.
Last in this term.
आप तो ऐसे साउंड
Last
कर रहे हो
one.
कि इसके बाद तेरी
No,
budget
no.
दे रहे.
But here, see, the thing is, the schemes like the farmers, the insurance, the medical insurance, which looks very promising, rupees from 30,000 to 5 lakh. But let me tell you, Jaitley last year had increased it from 30,000 to 1 lakh. So that press note is still with us, but it was never implemented.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. And even in 30,000, the allocation was 1,000 crore and the revised estimate was 464 crore. Okay, this is another thing.
This doesn't make it.
Then the third major factor is there are only 8 states which are implementing the centrally announced insurance scheme. Okay, the only 8 states, 8 out of 20.
So that's what,
Seven.
exactly.
Seven,
That's what I was thinking of, because health is a state subject,
Yes.
right? So states have to implement it.
Because if the center is saying, okay, center is allocating 2,000 crore, so they are giving 60%, of the insurance. If the state is implementing it, 40% they have to shell out.
Yeah.
So states in the south, or even for that matter Maharashtra, they have better schemes already existing. Maharashtra was giving 1.5 crore for 1.5 lakh, under this insurance. So they never opted for 30,000. Okay. So them similarly in Andhra Pradesh, they also have their own. They have not taken the central scheme. So here, I feel that the implementation is something that.
तो मतलब announced तो हो गया, but it will not.
And if we go by the past, the 1 lakh was announced last year. It wasn't implemented. Okay, now they have announced 5 lakh. Obviously, they will, because the elections are around the
is coming
corner.
up.
So here's the thing about health schemes though. As I said, health is a state subject, and the reason for that is because health needs to be decentralized, right? Because it has to be decentralized to the district level, not just the state level, because then each area has a certain kind of ailments in those areas, etc. That's why the center making these schemes, like a broad stroke, 5 lakh you will get as an insurance. The states have to ultimately take a call on how much of that should go to them. So it has to be notified by individual states, otherwise it's pointless, right? And about the implementation, I think the implementation, of course, they'll start screaming about Aadhaar again. Right, where
they'll want the
Aadhaar to be. Then my fear is that if they are, since this is an insurance matter, I think the one thing they have to look at while implementing this is who are they giving it to, which is basically they said it will be primarily targeted at lower income group people. So how do you decide the lower income group person, right? The second is, there was this talk going on, which I think someone pointed out, that Nandan Nilekani had written this in his book, Rebooting India or whatever. Was the first step was fintech and Aadhaar. The second step was health and Aadhaar. So insurance companies will get health records and then decide whether this person deserves an insurance or not.
Do we know that yet?
So we don't know that yet, but looks like they're going in that direction, because it makes logical sense that, if you want to give someone insurance, the insurance company should know more about that person, right? Health records.
Going by the past, if you look at the farmers insurance thingy, going by the past, it could become a windfall for the insurance companies, the entire thing. It may not go to the beneficiaries. Apart from the insurance, there is another scheme that they have announced, of health centers, the upkeeping of the health centers, and they're going to supplement. So they have, I think, offered 600 crore rupees. Now, if you count the number of health centers that we have, so it comes to 80,000 rupees per center. Okay. So similarly, the TB patients, for nutrition, I think they have announced another 600 crore rupees. So you have 14 lakh, I was just looking at the numbers, 14 lakh infections every year. And there are 10 lakh patients. So there are total number of 24 lakh patients. The gestation period of each TB patient, getting better, getting cured is 9 months. So if you have to give nutrition for 9 months, if you just count, see how much money it comes down to. So if you look at the implementation, that is going to be the
Anand, your view?
I'm not going into those details, but on health, you see, when such policies are brought out, so and you don't have public policy infrastructure ready to deliver it, so it becomes a case of long-term implementations. It will have initial teething problems, and even if gets to its gestation period has to be around 5-6 years before it shows some signs of delivery potential. What they have also tried to do is that with this public policy, they have also tried to clandestinely push reforms by involving, as sir said, insurance companies, private hospitals. So it's a duality of policy goals. So and there was Arvind Mayaram, the former finance secretary. He was tweeting that private hospitals are not the way to go about, which I think is ridiculous. Means if you see the state of public hospitals, why not involve private hospitals, monitor it, place monetary mechanisms for it, but why not? I am sure his own children are going to private hospitals, Mr. Jairam's, so Mayaram's. So that is one thing, and so okay. and I think there has been a progressive culmination of the populism here. So it was never a very reformist government. So some policies were always pro people from the first budget only. And here and now it has culminated.
And because it's the last pre-poll budget.
It has culminated, and economic reforms in a third world economy would be muted. It would be muted. It would be in a very peaceful way.
Yeah, with good reason. Manisha?
I haven't really gone through the details, but then I'm just really happy that there is a conversation about health, and there's that kind of push for health care in this budget, as I don't think we've seen that even during the UPA time. I mean, farmers always find space, but to put focus on healthcare is great. I think it's a great move.
Now let's move to Kasganj. Should we move to Kasganj?
Yes.
So, Manisha, why don't you introduce the context and then we'll move on from
So, Kasganj is a town, a city in western Uttar Pradesh. January 26th, there was a fight of sorts that ensued between Hindus and Muslims. What had happened was that in the Muslim locality, there was a Tiranga Fehrane ki ceremony, basically a flag hoisting ceremony. And simultaneously, there was a Tiranga Yatra also organized by mostly ABVP guys or people affiliated with the ABVP. The Tiranga Yatra went to the Muslim neighborhood, and the roads were kind of blocked because they had arranged for chairs and everything. I mean, the flag hoisting ceremony was happening on the road. So these guys wanted to pass. The guys who were doing the flag hoisting said, no, you can't pass, you wait or whatever.
और basically Hindu-Muslim झगड़ा हो गया इसको ले.
नहीं, वहाँ पे झगड़ा नहीं हुआ. फिर वो बाइक छोड़ के गए. They went to another Muslim dominated area walking, और वहाँ पे गोलियाँ चली दोनों साइड से. उसमें there's one person who's died, Chandan Gupta. The person accused in this murder is Salim Javed, who's been caught, and 2 people have been injured, Naushad and Akram, in the leg and the eye. So this is the basic contest. दोनों ही झंडा फहरा रहे थे, लेकिन दोनों में लड़ाई हुई.
Over 100 persons.
Okay, so they left the bike and then they went to another area to cause trouble.
Over 100
It seems like
persons
that because
arrested.
when you look at the videos of the guys approaching the Muslim neighborhood, there are guys with pistols, there are guys with lathis,
Right.
with stones. So it's clearly, and this is something that the DM of Bareilly pointed out, that these kind of Tiranga Yatras are being used often to spark violence. It's happened in Bareilly too, where you go through a Muslim neighborhood and you say things like
Pakistan.
Hindu,
this
this time there were slogans like Hindi, Hindu, Hindustan, Katwe Jao,
Abhi,
Pakistan.
this
or
is
stuff like that.
Abhi, this is the trend which is not just happening in UP. It's happening, all over in North India at least. I think so. Why? Because I went in less than a month. I went twice to Chandni Chowk, and I saw the similar procession, which had no value. I mean,
No context.
No
like,
context.
out of the blue.
They were having Shahidi Divas of not in December, or not on December 6th of this Ayodhya, Shahidi Divas in Chandni Chowk, in the Muslim area, and you had huge, pictures of Hanuman, and you had Ram sitting over there. It was a huge procession going through the Muslim areas. Second time again I went, it was Subhash Chandra's birthday, so जय श्री राम भारत माता की जय, जय श्री राम भारत माता की जय.
सुभाष चंद्र एज इन जी वाला की बोस
बॉस
कह नहीं सकते यार आजकल.
कह नहीं सकते actually.
जी वाला भी काफी चीज हो गया.
I immediately thought of जी वाला.
Subhash Chandra Bose, his birthday, and again the same
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
I think what was really troubling in this was
So
the
this-
immediate reporting that happened, right? 26th this happened, 27th, Dainik Jagran's front page makes no mention of the fact that there was a celebration. There is a jhadap between 2 groups who were essentially celebrating Republic Day. They made it out to be like ye innocent, nice boys were going through, and they were shot at for saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai, which is
There's video
just
evidence
half
to the
truth.
contrary.
It's
Now, yeah, and this was picked up then by people like Rohit Sardana, who said कि अब तो हम हिंदुस्तान में अपने झंडे भी नहीं फहरा सकते. No one till ABP News actually went, and आज तक anchors also went, reporters went. The narrative was that Republic Day parade was happening, whatever rally was happening, there were flags being hoisted, Bharat Mata ki chanting, and Muslims got angry कि ये क्यों हो रहा है and shot at them, which is nowhere close to the truth.
So that's why you
And-
call him Riot Sardana now.
Yeah, I call him
No, I
riots.
also saw Arnab's coverage on this. It was very, very disheartening. I mean,
Yeah.
to what I can understand if you have political affiliations or leanings, to dehumanize yourself to a level where, I mean, it is truly Radio Rwanda level of propaganda. It is egging you on to, like, for example, you know, that mashup, you must have seen it, of Sambit Patra telling a Maulvi, Maulana ji, aapse hum Ram Aarti karayenge. Dekho. I mean, and not being called out for it, and he's saying Katmulla, Katwa. They use words like that.
These were the
And they
slogans
said,
that were
tumse
being
hum
chanted also.
Aarti karayenge. Imagine if a Muslim had said, Thehro, tumse hum namaz padhwayenge. Pandit ji, tumse hum namaz padhwayenge. Can you imagine the fucking backlash? And this guy is a spokesman, which is why this trope, you know, and a lot of people do this. You cannot go by what Sambit Patra says. You cannot go by what GV Alnar says.
No. That is the
They
party.
are retards. They are the bloody party spokesman. The party spokesperson gives the party's point of view. That's their job.
Yeah.
So, and these are just very pathetic, easy to see through kind of contortions to justify that. Let's be clear. That is the message they want out there, which they have successfully put out there.
Right.
And this Kasganj coverage was a classic, and I don't even want to get into whether X was right or Y was wrong. I mean, I'll take two hypothetical scenarios. I don't know what the facts are. Because, yes, both sides were aggressive. But let's say, even if these guys, the Muslim-dominated area, had been the aggressors, even then that's on the way to cover it.
Yeah.
And let's say, even if the ABVP guys had come and said, "Tu Bharat Mata ki jai bol," and I said, "Mujhe nahi bolna, kya kar lega?" Even then that's on the way to cover it.
True.
The coverage has nothing to do with the incident.
Right.
Yeah.
It is to push a particular narrative out, a particular feeling out, and suckers are lapping it up, and bigger suckers are justifying it.
Sun liya Afrika, mufat khoro. Not to brag or anything, but News Laundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free.
All News Laundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.